Should you go to church? What about virtual church and physical church? Do you need both, or is it enough to go to virtual church? Or do you absolutely need physical church? It's a big discussion, big question, big problem for many of us. How do you find a church that you're comfortable with, that you like, that seems to help you? What if there's nothing nearby? What if it's difficult to find other believers who want to meet together and do stuff? These are all big questions. And I want to suggest that there's something to start with first, because something new is coming, because inevitably we're in a new culture, a different environment, and things have to grow. We need to apply the wisdom of God and the activity of the Spirit to the now. So what do you do? What does the Spirit want you to do? Where does the Spirit want you to go? And I think the key thing to ask is, am I growing? Wherever you go, whatever you do, whoever you're with, is the environment that you're in and that you are creating causing you, enabling you to choose and do growth? Because that's the foundational understanding that I see in the scriptures, the wisdom from the New Testament that we can bring into our current context. Because we can't copy the patterns of the New Testament context. We can take the wisdom and the principles and bring it into our lives. So are you growing? What is happening with you when you meet with these things, when you go to meetings? You see, Paul in the New Testament, in 2 Corinthians, when he's talking about church activities when they're together, how they do church, very different to how we do church at the time, because it was a different context. So it wasn't a worship meeting where they would have a band and do stuff, and not that that's wrong. And they wouldn't have a preacher, someone who'd stand up and speak and everyone else be silent. Not that that's wrong. But his criteria for them gathering and them all participating was growth. Everything must be done, he says, for building people up. That's Greek speak, New Testament speak, for growth. That is, are people being disciples of Jesus and growing? A disciple is a learner, someone who's embracing the walk of Jesus into their life, being more and more active in the heavens and on the earth, being more and more active in your spiritual authority to call out to God in the heavens, to engage with councils and the angelic and spiritual realities, and walk that out practically with people and express love. And I think one of the things that can distract us is that word love. We say, well, I just want to go somewhere where I feel loved, where there's love. The question will be, what does love look like? What is love? What does it look like counterculturally to what we understand love to be from our environment, from our culture? You see, if I seek to grow as an individual with God, be a disciple, you could say, well, that's selfish because I'm just growing myself. What about other people? And then I need other people. Well, the New Testament picture of love is that I grow, and that inevitably means, as I grow, I want others to grow. Because love wants to give away. See, God is generous. He's full of grace. That is, he gives. And the more and more we become like him, the more and more that's what we do. So if I grow for my own sake and I don't care about other people, I'm not really growing. Paul has kind of two criteria for a church that's really been impacted, that God has really shown up and planted that church when he's writing in his letters. The first is they are faithful to Christ. They're forsaking all of the gods, all of the deities, all of the idols and influences, and they're following Jesus, and they're hungry to know Jesus' way and to put it in their lives. And the second is their love for all the saints. And it's not just their local community. It's the saints that they haven't even met. They're prepared to give finances and resources away to other churches, gatherings, other people that they've not met who are followers of Jesus. So when we gather, before we look at how we do that and the mechanisms and what songs we sing, if we sing songs, all of those sort of things, it all has to come from this energetic reality of love that grows. So it brings the question back to you, wherever you go, whatever you do, whether you meet with others or think you shouldn't, are you growing, and is that overflowing in wanting others to grow? Because if I expand into the heavens, it's not so that I can stand in my own position and go, haven't I done well? But it's so that I can then serve, because that's what God does, and give what I've received away. Are you growing? That's the reason for the online community that I run on Patreon. The point is that we learn deeper things from God, because if we're going to grow, we have to be stretched in our understanding and experience, and then we do it together. We help each other grow.